Okay, so the question is for this next cycle, 4-year cycle, bull market, bull run, whatever you want to call it, what should you be looking for? Altcoins, things like that. I think let's look at the themes that I think are going to emerge. And there are going to be two themes that I think are going to emerge. And the first of which is this a realization that there are real businesses, goods, services, products being delivered on blockchain that use cryptocurrencies. And so there are a number of, there are lots of those. I think those will come to the forefront. There will be more realization that there's a there. With the access being your Web3 wallet and these blockchains and the cryptocurrencies that power these blockchains. So I think that's going to unfold in two ways. One is people will start actually putting money into the businesses that are building natively in Web3. And the second thing is these platforms, or let's look at it in terms of memes and then sort of the things people tell themselves, or the narratives, which is, well, now that you have actual goods, products, services, businesses that work operationally, that are now implanted on these protocols or using these protocols, these cryptocurrencies. Those are the ones that people are going to look at and say, okay, that's legit. Right? That stupid DeFi token, that you bought in 2020 or 2021 or whatever, well, that was stupid. But this business that hasn't done anything, doesn't make any money, and still is speculative technology, well, that's real. And I think that's going to be kind of one of those themes that comes up. Because there are a lot of DeFi protocols that are great. A lot of them were just terrible. There are going to be a lot of businesses created that are already working right now and building that are going to be great. There are going to be a lot of ones that are terrible. So it's not like they're better opportunities. It's not like it's a better investment opportunity necessarily. It might be, but not like just because it happens to be a business building on blockchain as opposed to a DeFi protocol. It's not going to be just because of that. It really is. You should look at these things on the merits and understand that there's a lot of uncertainty goes into it. So account for that. People don't usually do that, so I think that's going to be the narrative in some of these businesses, like the businesses themselves. People wanting to buy a share in these businesses, and the platforms and protocols. Ethereum, fine, you can mention that, but also Matic and other ones where there are actual, honest to goodness, functional things that are built. Those are the ones that are going to attract a lot of attention, and Wall Street tokens. So in the past cycle, I talked about VC tokens. I don't mean tokens that are literally created by Wall Street entities, but this idea, it's going to be this idea that, well, it was created with the blessing of the regulators under these new regulatory paradigms. Or it might be a project that exists today that fits into whatever that regulatory paradigm is. Once the US and other countries build crypto frameworks. And I think people right now are worried, at least in the US, are worried about the definitions of securities. We'll see if Congress might change that. Congress might change that so that there's either carve out an exemption for crypto or create a new standard for crypto where the securities test, the Howey test, and these other things that are being applied to really limit the innovation stemming from the US into cryptocurrency. Other countries, no worries. They don't have to worry about that at all. But in terms of the US, people coming to the US to build, to hire people in the US, to start in the US, that's really, nobody's doing it because of our securities laws. Maybe that changes. We'll just have to see. That's not the point. The point is not to think that, okay, it has to be something that's regulated by the US government. It's just the idea that it is compliant, or like the regulators have assured it's compliant, or the lawyers of the legal standards assure people that it's compliant. Therefore, it's better. It's a meme. Doesn't mean it's better. It just means it's compliant. But in terms of the attention that these things get and maybe some of the traction that they get, I think those are the two themes that are going to emerge. First, it has to have in order for it to be legit, it has to have actual businesses building on it. And the second one being it's compliant. The regulators like it. Those are the two themes that I think are going to emerge in this next run. How that plays out, we'll just have to, we have to take on a day-by-day basis. There are a lot of projects that you might think, well, they're an altcoin, therefore they're security, therefore whatever, if you're in the US. Therefore they're security, they'll never be listed on exchanges, and You're not going to want to fuss with the DEX or some other way, or you definitely don't want to actually use this thing in your wallet and take possession of it. So you're not going to buy it, and therefore nobody will ever buy it because you won't buy it. Therefore, nobody ever will ever buy it, and so the project will die. And that's kind of a line of thinking that you hear a lot right now. I do think there is some legitimacy to that. I just don't know if it'll play out exactly the way people expect. But in any event, yeah, the next cycle, it's going to be different than the other one, but it's still all these things people tell themselves. Just remember, keep it in your back of your head. These are things that people are convincing themselves to buy. And in doing so, yeah, they get that opportunity, but let's not argue these fundamentals yet. We'll know fundamentals in 5, 10, 20 years, right? Stocks took, 150 years to have fundamentals, 100 years to have fundamentals. So we'll get to fundamentals. Right now, it's more about understanding and appreciating the circumstances. Take each project on its own basis. There are 20, 30,000 right now. 99% of them will die. So you're going to be left with a few hundred altcoins that are going to do really well and play a really pivotal role in the future of finance. Bitcoin is the king. Don't sleep on the king. Before you even touch altcoins, make sure you are set on your Bitcoin and relax and enjoy the ride.